The walls are closing in on Tim Walz, and he only has himself to blame. No, this isn't vengeance. This isn't retribution from the Trump administration. Massive fraud has been uncovered in Minnesota, and Governor Walz is in the middle. What did he know, and when did he know it? As of the making of this video, over $9 billion in fraud has been discovered, and this goes beyond the daycares, beyond the so-called Leering Center. It also extends to supposed food assistance and Medicare. Obviously, as the investigation goes on, there's going to be more and more evidence, but so far, Tim Walz is already being haunted by a comment he made during last year's vice presidential debate. When he faced off against J.D. Vance, Tim Walz bragged that his administration made it easier to open a daycare in Minnesota. You can't make this stuff up.
In Minnesota, passed a paid family and medical leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born. This allows you to stay home a certain amount of time. What we know is that gets the child off to a better start. The family works better. We stay in their employers. We get more consistency in that. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota, and we see growth. That's how you become a pro-business state. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this. We were listed as the best state. We're still in crisis on this. A federal program of paid family and medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
Yeah, Tim. Congratulations, you made it so easy to open a daycare in your state that hundreds of millions, if not billions of taxpayer dollars were stolen from right under your nose. And to make matters worse, much of that money was actually sent overseas to Somalia and many terrorist organizations. So yeah, I hope you're investigated. And here's the thing, when it comes to justice, when it comes to accountability, I know a lot of people are jaded, but hey, the prediction markets have been right again and again and again. And just take a look at this. According to Kalshi, who will be charged with a federal crime before 2027? Well, Tim Walz has skyrocketed to 69%, well above Letitia James, James Clapper, Mark Kelly. On virtually all the betting networks, he is, the most likely politician to be charged this year criminally, federally. That is just not a good look for him. And look, this isn't just copium. It's not just hopium. Actual action has been taken. So this was posted by the House Oversight Committee. They are bringing in Tim Walz to answer for the fraud in Minnesota. There are two key dates to watch out for here. The first one is January 7, which is next week, where Minnesota state representatives will be held accountable and testify on the Hill. And then the next one is February 10, when Tim Walz will be in attendance. And, Tim Walz has a funny way of talking. He has a funny relationship with facts. So I wouldn't be surprised if he says a few things that are, let's just say, untrue to Congress. And if I remember correctly, it's pretty serious to lie to Congress. So we'll see what happens then. I think that'll be a hearing for the ages. But what's crazy about this isn't just Tim Walz, it's the other side of the equation. It's the people who are perpetrating this fraud and the people who strategically worked to elect Tim Walz because they knew he would help them get more money. I think that raises more questions than it provides answers. So there's this video going viral of one of the top Somali leaders in Minnesota, and he basically admits that he organized and really campaigned, and the entire community campaigned to get Tim Walz elected because they knew that they could get more money from Tim Walz. So when I saw this clip, naturally I thought, oh, this has got to be AI. This is just way too perfect, right? Like the evidence is just so undeniable here that something fishy is going on. And again, it raises questions. One of the questions is, well, how did they know? He's not even governor yet. He was a candidate. How did they know that by electing him, they would get so much more money than they were getting? So I actually traced the origins of this video, and this video was uploaded here on YouTube before it started going viral everywhere else. So it is, I can't even pronounce that, but you can see here, uploaded 5 months ago by Universal TV, which, by the way, is a massive Somali YouTube channel. And this is what Hamse Warfa, again, one of the top community leaders, the community organizers in Minnesota, had to say.
laakiin waxyaabihii aan u ololeynay oo u taageernay gudoomiyaha waxa kamid ahaa gobolka Minnesota 30 sano ku dhawaad baan deganahay hal qof oo Afrikaan ah oo gudoomiye gobolku xil sare u magacaabay ma jirin 30 sano aynu joognay
waan gartay
laba marna in la magacaabo kaliye waxa rabnaa waxtarka gobolka maadaama aanu wax soo gelitaankiisa aanu qayb ka nahay nacfigiisuna waa inuu gobolka dadka Soomaaliyeed soo gaaro waxaa jirta in jirin hay'adaha Soomaaliyeed ama bulshada Soomaaliyeed wasaaradaha gobolka mid kamid ah oo xataa $100,000 taariikhda ka soo gashay gudoomiyaha Tim Walz ka hor
si wanaagsan
inaysan jirin laakiin markii ugu horeysay waxa suurta gashay in si toos ah loo taageero baahida dadka Soomaaliyeed oo gobolka
that is really interesting. Notice his use of the phrase real power. That right there is interesting. And the fact that he somehow knew, again, before Tim Walz was going to be elected in the past, we only got $100,000. And somehow, before this guy's even governor, he knew that they would get so much more money from Tim Walz's administration. How did he know that? Again, I think that raises more questions than answers. Well, everyone is definitely panicking in Minnesota. That's what happens when corruption is exposed and the money runs dry. What's funny about all of this is that some people are actually exposing themselves. So Nick Shirley's video, obviously the one that went super viral and really drew attention to this, he covered various daycares, right? Well, one daycare that Nick Shirley didn't even mention, he didn't cover it like this daycare was completely off the radar. Well, they drew attention to themselves because they claimed that they were burglarized. But oh, here's the thing. Nothing of value was stolen except the paperwork that supposedly proved that they had children enrolled in their daycare. You can't make this stuff up.
Of what they say vandals did. Now, this is where they say the vandals got into the daycare through cinder block and appeared to be unsuccessful when trying many other ways. The daycare says it appears the vandals first tried to saw into the door of the Family Dollar next door in the shopping center, but that didn't work. The manager claims those who broke in went straight to the office, stealing information of the many children who were taken care of here.
We are not a part of any harmful things that are being said. We have no problem with CCAP and our licensing has been good. Even the inspections. I want to say no intimidation is going to stop us.
Bro, just stop. You were making things so much worse for yourself. So much about this story doesn't make sense anyways. Like, who robs a daycare? And if you do rob a daycare, how do you know exactly where the student records are kept? And why would that be the only thing that's taken? Wouldn't you go after the electronics, which I would presume are more valuable, like the iPads, computers, surely the security cameras that a legitimate daycare would have around for liability purposes? On top of all of that, though, it just makes no sense when you take a look at that photo. They are clearly pulling a Jussie Smollett. So they're claiming that this supposed burglar sawed his or her way in from the outside. Well, how did he or she saw straight through the cinder block? It's impossible unless they have some sort of superpower the rest of us haven't heard of yet. Clearly, the person who staged this break-in went to the daycare that Nick Shirley covered in his YouTube video. They went to the Leering Center because they clearly did not leer or learn any logic here. This hole was clearly made from the inside, which means this was staged, that this was fake, no one tried to break in from the outside. And even if someone did, that just makes no sense because Minnesota is absolutely freezing. Wouldn't you want to keep yourself warm? And if you're outside trying to break in, don't you want to try to minimize that time? Wouldn't you be afraid of a cop driving by or a witness seeing you or security cameras picking you up? Like, you would want to go through the door or the window or want to do something where you can get it in and out pretty fast. And look, I'm not speaking from experience here because I have no experience in this, but I would just imagine if I was trying to saw through a wall, like, I would be terrified to do that. I wouldn't want to get electrocuted, run into some wires, or be blocked by a water pipe or something. It just makes no sense. And I certainly do not have the skill to cut through cinder block without harming the cinder block. But hey, if I did, I would open a Somali daycare center. And on top of all of this, even the left-wing Minnesota Star Tribune is saying that this is false. Take a look at this middle paragraph. Although workers allege an unknown number of documents were taken, Minneapolis police later told the Star Tribune that their written report indicated that, quote, nothing had been stolen from the office or the daycare center. So that obviously is a bad look. Well, a few eagle-eyed social media users took a closer look at the guy who was speaking at that press conference. His name is Nazrullah Muhammad, and he's the manager at this daycare center, and people really noticed his glasses. Before we take a closer look at his glasses, I just want to notice, the blonde lady to camera right. She looks like she's being held hostage and being paid to hold up that sign to defend the daycare. It's just a funny look. But his glasses apparently cost $2,479. You cannot make this stuff up. I can't imagine that most daycare workers could afford those glasses. But hey, if you're defrauding the government of hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars, then those glasses are just a drop in the bucket. But like I said, though, this all comes back to Tim Walz. What did he know and when did he know it? Like, none of this is new. Yes, it went viral because of Nick Shirley's incredible video, and it really blew the lid wide open. But the reality is local news has been reporting on this for years. Whistleblowers have been coming forward for years. So it's impossible that Tim Walz and his administration wouldn't know about this. So the question is, why didn't they act sooner? Now, before we get into all of that, I would like to acknowledge the members of today's Governor's Club. They are MSMMM 6452, RL 1401. This is Bob. Thank you so much. ×2. I'm so sorry I missed your last one, and that was so gracious of you. Thank you. Maga Meg, always great to see you. Jenda Monero, Sherry Miller, great to see all of you. Lots of familiar names there. I love it. Again, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I really appreciate all of you, and I'm glad that you're here. Now, what's funny about this, again, why didn't Tim Walz investigate all of this? Well, investigating fraud makes you a white supremacist. Scott Jennings actually pointed this out on CNN, and they tried to fact check him, and they were oh so wrong, like they so often are.
It's Democrats who have put Somali diaspora in Minneapolis at the center of their party and their state's politics. It's a small portion of the population. There is a bunch of fraud that goes on, and even Tim Walz has claimed that any investigation of this fraud is akin to white supremacy,
no,
which is
he
a
hasn't. No, he has not claimed that. He has not said that.
He has said that.
He has not said that.
I love how they all jump in as if they know, as if they're ChatGPT and they have, the entire internet in their head. Oh, he's never said that. There's absolutely no proof of this. Oh, really? Well, let's play the tape and listen to Tim Walz in his own words.
This is what happens when your own federal government wages war against you. This is what happens when they target communities for their own benefit. This is what happens when they scapegoat. And this is what happens when they no longer hide the idea of white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy, the idea of white supremacy.
Yeah, so the implication's clear. He's calling it white supremacy to investigate these claims of fraud, which I don't think is the reason why he didn't investigate this. I think it's just a convenient alibi, a convenient excuse to the far left radical base. But the exciting part is that this is just beginning. Yes, it's awful that this has happened, but hey, it's gotten people's attention. The government is taking action. Hopefully something actually comes of it. Hopefully there is accountability and justice. But what's exciting to me is that Nick Shirley apparently hasn't shown us everything yet. There is a part 2. He is promising. Just wait until I post part 2. They, referring to the mainstream media, are going to go insane. I don't know about you, but I absolutely cannot wait. As always, though, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. This is what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think is going to be in part 2? Let me know your predictions down in the comments below. I thought part 1 was so thorough. Obviously, it was over like 40 minutes long. I love that he was actually doing investigative reporting down on the ground, going different places, just talk about having the guts to actually do that when the mainstream media won't do their jobs. I mean, isn't that what they're supposed to do? I have no idea what's coming next, but I wouldn't be surprised if this goes not just deeper into the daycare centers, but into healthcare as well, because that is a huge place. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.